What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, and today we're going to be taking a trip to Sherwood Forest in 1973's Robin Hood, featuring the voice talents of Brian Bedford, Monica Evans, Phil Harris, Roger Miller, Andy Devine, Peter Ustinov, Pat Buttram, George Lindsay, and J. Pat O'Malley. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. And as I said during the introduction, today we take a trip to Sherwood Forest and we talk about Walt Disney Animation Studios' version of the Robin Hood tale, as told through forest animals the way that Disney do. Granted, being as how they're not using humans, there's going to be some liberties taken with the tale. But I just got to get this out of the way, man. This was my first introduction to the lore of Robin Hood. And it's something that I have gone on to enjoy pretty much my entire life. So let's get into the story here, shall we? Our film opens with our narrator, Alan Adale, a rooster, who talks briefly about the lore of Robin Hood and all the different versions that there have been of it, even up to 1973. He then tells us about how the animal kingdom has their own version, about what really happened. We are then introduced to Robin Hood, a fox, and Little John, a bear, who reside in Sherwood Forest. They live free with no rules, and they rob from the rich to give to the poor townsfolk of Nottingham. Meanwhile, Prince John, a lion, is the de facto king of England. He sends his lead henchman, the Sheriff of Nottingham, a wolf, to catch the two, but he fails every time. Robin is just too clever. I'm pretty sure that's why they chose a fox, because you think of how sly and crafty foxes are. So for him to be able to outwit, pretty sure that's why they chose that animal. Meanwhile, Prince John and his counselor, Sir Hiss, a snake, arrive in Nottingham. Now, King Richard is the brother of Prince John, and he's taken off to lead the Crusades after being hypnotized by Sir Hiss, which has allowed Prince John to take over the throne. However, the prince is greedy and immature, going as far even as to suck his thumb whenever his mother is mentioned. Robin and Little John disguise themselves as fortune tellers and rob Prince John and the royal coach. This prompts Prince John to put out a bounty for the capture of Robin Hood and makes the sheriff his personal tax collector. As a result, the sheriff proceeds to tax the inhabitants of Nottingham excessively. However, Robin continues to give back to the people despite the sheriff and Prince John's best efforts. One day, while disguised as an elderly beggar, Robin overhears a family of rabbits celebrating a boy's birthday after the sheriff comes in and takes the young boy's present, one single gold farthing. Robin comes in, cheers the boy and his family up, and Robin gives the young rabbit, Skippy, a bow and arrow of his very own for his birthday. When his sister comments that something's missing from the look, Robin even goes as far as to give his own hat to the young boy as a birthday present. And Skippy is just over the moon over this because, as you can imagine, being a young boy in Nottingham, he idolizes Robin and everything that Robin stands for. So after receiving his presents, Skippy and his friends go out to test out the bow and arrow. But Skippy accidentally fires an arrow into the grounds of Maid Marian's castle. Skippy sneaks inside and he ends up meeting Maid Marian, who's also a fox, and her lady-in-waiting, Lady Cluck, a hen. Maid Marian reveals to Skippy and the other children that she and Robin were childhood sweethearts, but they haven't seen each other for years. Marian even feels that Robin has probably forgotten all about her. Friar Tuck, a badger and the local priest, visits Robin and Little John one day, tells him that Prince John is hosting an archery tournament where the winner will receive a kiss from Maid Marian. Robin, obviously being skilled in the bow and arrow, agrees to participate in the tournament and disguises himself as a stork so that he can go in undetected by Prince John and his goons, while Little John disguises himself as Sir Reginald, the Duke of Chutney, in order to get close to Prince John, who he refers to during this segment as PJ, a moniker that Prince John kind of takes a liking to and tries to get his goons to continue to refer to him as PJ. Sir Hiss is able to discover that the stork is in fact Robin, but he gets trapped in a barrel of ale by Friar Tuck and Alan a Dale. Robin, of course, wins the tournament, defeating the Sheriff of Nottingham in the finals, who's even tried to cheat to win. But Prince John exposes him and sentences him to death, despite the pleas of Maid Marian. Little John gets one up on Prince John, though, and threatens him with a dagger, which is pointed into his back, get him to release him, which leads to an all-out brawl between Robin, Little John, Maid Marian, and Lady Cluck, and Prince John's soldiers. And it all culminates in Robin and his allies being able to escape. Now, once in the safety and the familiar surroundings of Sherwood Forest, Robin and Maid Marian share a romantic evening together. They are then surprised by the merry men, who throw a party for them and sing a psalm mocking Prince John, describing him as the phony King of England. When the psalm gets back to Prince John, as it becomes so catchy that even the sheriff is singing it, Prince John becomes enraged, triples the taxes. The sheriff then pays a visit to Friar Tuck's church and takes money from the poor box, essentially the offering plate. People put donations in anonymously, try to give back to the poor who need it more. The sheriff comes in and just takes the money out of there. As a result of the dastardly deed, this angers Friar Tuck, and Friar Tuck decides to attack the sheriff and ends up getting arrested as a result. Prince John then decides to hang Friar Tuck as a way to try to lure Robin out of hiding and kill him in the process. Robin and Little John engage in a rescue mission, with Little John freeing Friar Tuck and the rest of their friends, while Robin steals all of Prince John's gold. However, Sir Hiss awakens from his slumber and catches Robin fleeing, thereby awakening Prince John. Chaos ensues as Robin and the others attempt to escape into Sherwood Forest. However, the sheriff is able to corner Robin after he runs back to save Skippy's baby sister. Robin and the sheriff engage in battle and accidentally end up setting fire to Prince John's castle, which causes Robin to leap from the tower into the moat below. Little John and Skippy watch on in anticipation as the moat is pelted with arrows and Robin is presumably shot and drowned, only to emerge after a few moments completely unharmed. Prince John, as a result, gets driven into a blind rage when Sir Hiss then points out to him that his mother's castle is now on fire. Our film draws to its conclusion as King Richard returns to England, having led them through the Crusades, and places his brother, Prince John, Sir Hiss, and the Sheriff of Nottingham under arrest. King Richard then pardons Robin Hood and allows him to marry Maid Marian. The happy couple then depart Nottingham with Little John and Skippy in tow as they live happily ever after. Now, this version of Robin Hood specifically has always made me wonder, is Maid Marian a princess? Should she be a Disney princess as part of their line that includes Cinderella, Aurora, Ariel, Belle, etc., etc.? Well, Renegade, why would you ask that? It's very obvious that she's Maid Marian, not Princess Marian. Okay, hear me out. At the end of the film, one of the last lines delivered is from King Richard. And he makes the comment about how he now has an outlaw for an in-law. If an outlaw is now an in-law, that would allude to the fact that Marian is his daughter. And if Marian is King Richard's daughter, that would thereby make her a princess. Just going off of standard lineage. We won't get into the fact that King Richard's a lion, Marian's a fox, and all the interspecies erotica that had to be at play there in order to create that kind of lineage. But he says that an outlaw is now an in-law, which means that by Robin marrying Marian, he's now his in-law, which would make Marian a princess by design. No other tale, no other version of this. Is this even a question? Because Marian has never been designed as King Richard's daughter. But that one little throwaway line in this particular version has always made me wonder, should Maid Marian be considered a Disney princess as a result? Personally, I think yes. If within the confines of this story, King Richard now has an outlaw for an in-law, that would make Marian his daughter. If she's his daughter, then she's a princess. Bottom line. What do you guys think? I know I kind of rambled on about that little bit there for a moment. Let me know. If you're watching the live premiere, leave your comments over here. If you're watching on demand, leave your thoughts down here. Should Maid Marian be considered a Disney princess in the same vein as Snow White, Cinderella, Aurora, Ariel, Belle, Jasmine, Tiana, Rapunzel, Anna, etc.? Should she be considered a princess? Let me know. But when it comes to my review for this, this is one of the first Disney films that I remember seeing as a kid that like really stuck with me, that became part of my DNA. I adore this film to this day. It kind of spiraled me on my whole love and adoration for the tale of Robin Hood. I've seen Robin Hood Princess Thieves with Kevin Costner. I've seen Robin Hood Men in Tights by Mel Brooks. Aside from those, though, I highly implore you guys to go and search out the BBC America TV drama version of Robin Hood that aired, I want to say it was around the late 2000s, starring Jonas Armstrong as Robin. It was only 3 seasons, but it was very, very well told, in my opinion, and a great addition to the lore of Robin Hood. So if you're a fan of the Robin Hood saga and story, I highly recommend you check that out. But for this film, it should surprise nobody. It gets 5 out of 5 for me. I just adore this story and this version of this story. There is nothing bad about this to me. There's only one thing that I nitpick about when it comes to this film, and it's not enough for it to knock any stars off for me. But I feel that the song Love that's played during Robin and Marian's romantic evening really brings the movie to a halt. I understand that it scores their relationship beautifully and it's a lovely song, but I feel like it brings the whole movie to like a stop. And that's the song that gets the play on like the classic Disney CDs and compilations. You don't get the phony King of England, which I think is a superior song on those CDs. You get Love. And again, it's not a bad song. I just feel that with everything that goes on in the movie and how action packed and paced it is, it brings the film to a halt. Just my 2 cents. What do you guys think? Whatever it is you think, don't forget to get out there on social media. Get those hashtags trending for me. Hashtag Casa D18 Studios, hashtag Renegades Reviews, hashtag Renegade Returns, and of course, the ever popular hashtag Shenanigans. We interrupt this episode of Renegades Reviews for an important announcement about
merchandising.
Merchandising? What's that?
Merchandising. Come, I'll show you. Merchandising, merchandising, where the real money's made.
Make sure you go over to teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network for all the t-shirts you see here from the West Coast professor, Jeff Meacham himself. You can get shirts for the Jeff Meacham Network, Talk Wrestling, as well as the red and gold Meachamania shirts. And while you're there, don't forget to get your shirts of the Casa D18 Studios Brotherhood, the Dads on Wrestling shirt, the Renegade J.J. Williams, Statboy Sports Bar, and the hashtag StatBoyApproved shirt. Make sure you go over to teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network and score your shirts today. Make sure you guys get out there. Do what that commercial just told you. Go to teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network for all your official merchandise of the Casa D18 Studios Brotherhood. Get you your Renegade J.J. Williams shirt, Dad's Not Always on Wrestling, Statboy Sports Bar, hashtag StatBoyApproved, hashtag Shenanigans. Get you your official merchandise of the Jeff Meacham Network, 3 different designs of the Jeff Meacham Network logo for you to choose from, along with Talk Wrestling, Meachamania, so much more. It's summertime. It's been in the triple digits out here where I am. If you want to get yourselves a tank top, Meachamania is available in tank tops, as is the Renegade J.J. Williams. Grab you a tank top for these hot summer nights and these summer days. Show your support, especially if you appreciate all the hard work that I'm doing out here in my garage studio, providing content for you guys on a daily basis. And if you do appreciate that, you can also go to that PayPal link, send me a little donation. However much you can spare, however much support you'd like to show me, anything that you send, I will greatly appreciate. Or if you don't want to spend money or send money, you can go to my link tree, purchase something off of my Amazon movie wish list. You do that when it arrives, and I open it live on Renegade Recap during my movie mail segment, give you a shout out, thank you live on the air for sending me that. And then when I finally work it into my theme months and can actually cover it and review it, give you another shout out. Thank you guys for supporting me and helping me out. Keep in mind, guys, right now I am not monetized. I make no money off of YouTube for these videos. Right now it's just for the love of it. And as long as I'm enjoying this, I'm going to continue to crank out this content for you guys on a daily basis. So if you appreciate that, and you appreciate me sweating my butt off in 100-degree heat in this garage, go to that PayPal. Like I said, $1, $2, $5. Send me a little donation. It's a little small thank you for all of the appreciation that you guys have for the content I create. Tomorrow, right back here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, make sure you tune in for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, when we will take a look at a package film that was released during the Bronze Age of the Walt Disney Animation Studios. The Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. You're not going to want to miss out on that one tomorrow. This movie combines 3 different shorts of Winnie the Pooh tales that had already been released prior, but they took them, threw them together in a movie form, added a little bit of new animation to kind of string the segments together. You're definitely going to want to check that out tomorrow, right back here on Renegades Reviews. To all my loyal viewers, tune in during the premiere, leaving your comments over here. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate you guys. All my loyal fans and viewers, tune in a little bit later in the day, watching on demand, leaving your comments down here. Once again, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you guys that tune in on a daily basis and continue to support me. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time.